Eddie Avenue here, and yes, I haven't made a video in a really long time. Just been super busy with the holidays and everything else. Did make a video a couple of days ago and loaded at night. Really watched it in the morning and realized it was really long and stupid, so I took it off. But it was titled My Experiences After 3 months or something like that. But I've had this camera for about 3 months now, so thought I'd go down and answer a few questions that I've been asked often about the camera. First question I get asked, is the camera worth it? So $1,500 for the body and $2,800 for the kit. Is it worth it? Yes, I think it's worth it. A lot of features, a lot of good things, really a lot packed into the body, and I think the lens is really good as well. One of the things I said in the last video, I said, if you were to ask a sports photographer how much 15 frames per second at full resolution is worth to them, they'll tell you that they've spent over $5,000 on bodies that were not quite capable of doing that, but close to it. So that alone, I think, gives this camera a lot of value. But overall, I think at $1,500, you're getting a really good value, and about $1,200–1,300 for this lens, another great value, and then you get the battery and what's included in the kit by now. So is it worth it? I think it is, absolutely. The other question I get asked often is, should I buy this camera? It's a really hard question to answer because a lot of times people ask me, hey, I'm thinking about this camera or a GH4 or the Nikon 750. It's really hard for me to answer that question. I've never played with either camera, so I couldn't tell you. But here's my experience with the NX1. It's been a great overall camera. It's done me a lot of good. I've been in a few situations where it was frustrating, and it's a learning curve. But overall, I think it's a fantastic camera. If you were to buy it, could you find a better camera for a specific need? Yes, probably. The GH4 is a fantastic video camera, and a lot of pro YouTubers are using this camera to do their recording. Even some big time photo guys are primarily sticking to this camera for their video. Is it because it's been out longer? Probably. It was the first 4K. Not that a lot of people are recording in 4K, but a lot of people are using it and they're very happy with it. So maybe the GH4 is the better of the two in video. I don't know. I'm not a video guy. It's one of my goals in the future to get more familiar with video, do more video, and get better at it. The Nikon 750 camera kind of looks like a beast. It's big, got a lot of buttons. Other than that, I really don't know much. I've always liked Nikon. I've always liked Canon. But it's really hard to tell if it's a better camera. I think we can, if there was 3 people and each of us owned one of these cameras, I think we can go back and forth and argue for days about who has a better camera. So overall, I think you should really do your homework. I'm sorry I'm not being much help, but that's just my honest answer. Would I buy this camera again? Absolutely. I would do it all over again. It's been a great camera. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've gotten some great results, and I'm no longer afraid to shoot at 6400 ISO and occasionally even higher. The frame rate is great at 15, but I don't really use it that much. In fact, I have mine set at 12. But overall, I think it's a good camera. There's a lot of value. Yes, I would buy it again. Yes, you should buy it if you're thinking about it, but really do your homework and see what your specific needs are. I made a list of things that I wanted my new camera to be when I was still using my Canon. Mirrorless was number 1. High ISO was number 2. I wanted it to look and feel like a DSLR, and there really wasn't a camera out that kind of did that. And then the NX1 came out, and I was like, okay, that's it. So for me, a lot of things on my list the NX1 did. So I went with it, and no regrets. So is the camera worth it? Yes. Should you buy it? Yes. But do your homework, you know. Make a list, check it twice, you know, whatever. But alright, next. Things that bug me about this camera. So 3 months of using it, let's go over. First thing that bugs me is this lens has a little bit of a wiggle, just a little tiny bit. So when I'm holding it, it moves just a bit. It doesn't bother me all the time, but it's there and it bothers me a little bit. Occasionally when I have it on a tripod, and normally I don't have my camera on a tripod, but lately I've been doing a lot of real estate photography. So camera sits on a tripod, I pick up the tripod and I move it. When I set the tripod down, it tells me that it's not detecting the lens. So I don't know if I can adjust the mount, make it a little bit tighter, or some kind of adjustment I can do to fix this issue, but it really bugs me at times. But it's a nanosecond and then it sees the lens and it's fine. So it really hasn't gotten in the way of workflow, except for a millisecond. But still, it's just something that's bugging me because it's happening. Focusing. New firmware is coming soon. It may even be out. I don't know. I have to go online and see. But it's supposed to make it better. It's just hunts in low light, low contrast. And sometimes it hunts and then totally gives up and says, I can't do this. So a lot of times, I have the manual override just for these situations. It hunts a little bit. I wish it wasn't like that. I was really hoping it would focus a little bit better in low light. I really thought this beam that they really promoted was going to do a better job of that. But it's not. And, you know, it's okay, I guess. You know, whatever. It is what it is. So when I'm shooting bands, I sometimes have to go into manual. Some bands are okay as long as the lighting is good. I can get enough contrast and it'll focus okay. But you know, in low light, there's quite a bit of a hunting, and sometimes it gives up. You can't use a timer and bracket. Kind of annoying. So when I'm shooting these homes, I'm bracketing, doing 5 shots per scene, and I have to use a remote. I can't just use a timer. I don't mind using the remote, but you know, I'd much rather use a timer. That way I don't have to have another piece of equipment and I don't have to rely on it. So I wish we could use the timer and bracket, but you can't at the moment. On that note, the remote note, I wish there was more third-party lenses and accessories for this camera. I did manage to get a third-party wired remote, but it's really poorly made. In fact, I got another one right away, just thinking that someday it would give out and hoping I'll do more real estate. But you know, like, I wish they made a wireless. I don't think I've seen one yet, but it'd be great to have a wireless trigger for this camera. It'd be great if they could make a Bluetooth one. That way I don't have to rely on line of sight. I wish they made more lenses. I wish Tamron and Sigma started making lenses for this camera. Rokinon makes some good lenses. In fact, I'm using a 12mm prime full manual lens to do a lot of my real estate stuff. Amazing lens. I'm really happy with it. It's my first time using a fully manual lens, you know, aperture ring, manual focus only. But it's cool. It's small. It's 12mm. Does a good job. Very little distortion. So I wish they made more third-party stuff. Small, raw. I think there's a lot of people asking for this. You know, the raw files coming out of this camera are humongous. And when you're doing real estate and you got 5 shots per scene, you end up going home with a lot of gigabyte. And then, you know, my final result ends up being less than 350 kilobits. So my final result is a very small image. So it'd be nice for people like me that do a lot of real estate, do a lot of events and things of that nature, where the makeup or the size of the file really doesn't matter. I think it'd be fantastic to have a smaller raw size file, maybe like cut it in half. That'd be fantastic. And the other thing is, something I've been saying from the get-go is there's no format shortcut, and I format all the time. Every time I stick a memory stick in there, I format. I'm known to walk around the house with my camera, take a bunch of pictures, and then format. So if they can make a format shortcut where I hit two buttons, or I think Nikon, Canon both have a you hold down two buttons and then it formats, something like that. That would be great. So that's pretty much it. Overall, I think the camera has been fantastic. Would I buy it again? Absolutely, I would buy it again. But is it perfect? No. Could I find a better camera at some specific things? Absolutely. It's just another camera at a pretty high-end level at that price range. So basically, there's a lot of them in that price range, and I think for the most part, they're all good. It's just what's gonna be best for your needs, your field, your perspective, I think people should just do their homework. But yeah, I think it's an awesome camera, and I would definitely buy it again. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for all your comments. Have a good day.